Joining us on this episode.
You got walls and a roof. Well,
or the people living their life like a movie. Real talk between real sisters. Hey, step siblings. Welcome back to Between Sisters Podcast. Hey, step siblings. I'm Corrine.
And I'm Kayla.
And you're listening to
Between Sisters Podcast.
Before we get into today's conversation, we have to take a moment to honor a woman that meant so much to so many people, Dolly Parton. Dolly wasn't just a country music legend. She was a songwriter, actress, entrepreneur, philanthropist, storyteller, and a blueprint for what it looks like to build a life completely on your own terms. For us, especially as women figuring out our 20s, her legacy feels incredibly relevant. She showed us that you can come from humble beginnings and still dream bigger. You can reinvent yourself. You can be underestimated and still know exactly who you are. And you can achieve incredible success without losing your generosity or your sense of self. So today we're not talking about sadness. We are celebrating Dolly Parton's career by talking about what she left us with. And with 5 lessons from a woman who spent her life reminding us that there is nothing wrong with dreaming big and making room for other people along the way. This one is for Dolly.
That was so good.
So we are going to start off with the Sister Soundoff, of course. Sister Soundoff is where we take 30 seconds to pause the conversation and speak our mind. Hear us out. Dolly Parton, more than anyone, really demonstrated not caring what anybody else had to say and not changing herself for anything, okay? She didn't care if people thought that she didn't know certain things or wasn't smart because of the way she looked, because she knew who she was. She was very certain in that, and she was like, oh, you'll see, okay? And it really is so inspiring to see that she stood 10 toes down on that her entire life. You never saw her tone it down ever. Even when she was asked, like I was seeing interviews of people kind of asking her disrespectful questions like, well, you know, people think you look crazy. Mm-hmm. And you know people are laughing at you, right? Mm-hmm. She answered so gracefully every single time. She didn't feel bad about herself, anything. She didn't let anything that anybody said to her, even if it made her feel a certain type of way, she didn't let anybody see her sweat.
Yeah. And she gave a lot of people permission to just be themselves, be that hyper feminine person, because that's who she was, right? And just knowing that her looks didn't determine her intelligence. You know, I feel like, especially, you know, in the times of her musical peak, people were looking at her like, okay, she has, you know, big boobs, she's wearing rhinestones, big hair, she's blonde. They're looking at her thinking she's just this ditzy person. And she was incredibly smart, incredibly talented, you know. So it just goes to show, you can be yourself. You don't have to dim it down. You literally can be authentic and still show your talent.
I love her quote, it costs a lot to look this cheap. I thought that was so funny. One, just because she was just funny and witty, but it's just, she's taking what people are saying about her and flipping it on their head. It reminds me, this is so, what a reference to bring up for Dolly Parton, but it does remind me of Let It Shine. Remember in the rap battle when they were like, oh, was it Let It Shine or was it the Eminem movie 8 Mile? Jesus. I know it was a rap battle. That's all I know. Okay. And they were like, oh, say the bad thing. Mm-hmm. Say everything they're going to dish you with before. Right. And so his rap, they were in a rap battle and his rap was everything they was about to diss him with. I don't know if it was Let It Shine or 8 Mile. The fact that I am equating the... Listen, they both went that hard for me. I can't even tell the difference. Okay.
I'm trying to find it. But okay, for me, but to piggyback off of that, I like that she called herself a hussy. And that's the same thing. She's like, you know, a hussy. I guess for black people, that's what you would call a hoochie. They're the same thing. They're the same people. You know what I mean? And I love that.
But basically, she was like, "Oh, this is what you want to say? Okay, said it. Now, what are you gonna say?
Right.
You can't catch me off guard. You can't do that. You can't do that. So that I feel leads into a lesson from Dolly, which is don't let people feel any type of way about you. You know what I feel about that? People will really try and trick you out of your spot. Okay? They'll be like, "Oh, I would never." I always think of the example with a man.
Okay.
Because, people are always like, "Oh, I would never let a dude treat me that way." And then when it gets to be their turn.
For me, it makes me think of let them think what they want to think. Just show them who you are. You can think whatever you want to think because they thought it all. You know what I'm saying? And they said it all. But at the end of the day, it held no weight because she showed people who she was. That's the kind of way I learned in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, period. And yours was a little more sophisticated. I was like, don't let them people trick you out of your spot. Because, no, it's true. People be like, "Oh, it's so corny that you're doing this." And then you stop. And then you see them trying to do it. Or they'll say, "Oh, it's so corny that you're doing this." And then you keep doing it and it's successful. And now they're asking you how that you did it. Or now you see them trying to do it. That's what I mean with people trying to trick you out of your spot. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do with her. Trying to trick her out of her spot. "Oh, you look tacky. You look this, you look that." But really, you wanted to look fab too. Yeah. You just knew you couldn't pull it off.
And I feel like the people who get it. Like if you didn't get it, it is what it is. You just didn't.
Yeah.
You know? You just didn't understand.
I never understood that. I didn't understand the claims and the accusations against Miss Dolly. But that's neither here nor there. A lot of people have been posting like tributes and stuff and quotes and stuff. And there was a lot posted online that I loved and things that I loved that I just wanted to go through that I felt like were lessons. Mm-hmm. One of them was people shared the story about Dolly Parton. Okay, "I Will Always Love You." Mm-hmm. Of course, Dolly Parton's original song. She wrote the song, everything, has the publishing rights. Elvis Presley wanted to record that first. And they called her and she was so excited. And she was like, "This is like a dream." Mm-hmm. And they said, "But he doesn't record anything if he don't have half the publishing. Mm-hmm. So you need to give up your ownership of the song in order for him to do it." Mm-hmm. She said no. She said she cried all night and she was sad about it. But she knew what was hers. She knew her rights. And that was all. And I saw somebody put a really good thing online. And they said, I think this is just Jamie on Instagram. She said, "I think we get this wrong all the time. We assume the right decision should feel obvious, exciting, certain, like an immediate yes. But sometimes the right decision feels like a loss. Dolly wanted Elvis to sing her song. She just wasn't willing to give away ownership to make that happen." Read that again. She wanted the opportunity. She didn't want the terms. Those things are not the same.
I feel like that's such a lesson, yes, in life, but especially for people just in any industry, really. Don't let someone's status or fame undervalue yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's Elvis. You know what I mean? Anyone, you're like, what? So the fact that she, even though it was probably super sad, super scary in that moment, you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm about to tell Elvis no. What is this going to do?" But she had enough sense and enough self-worth to be like, "You know what? I'm going to protect what is mine and protect my ownership," you know?
I feel like that's a good lesson just in career, because I know in a lot of industries that are desirable, that a lot of people want to go into, that are exclusive, mm-hmm. right? Harder to get into. The entry level jobs and whatever type of, even if you're at a company or if you're working for like a smaller thing or for directly for a person, can be predatory with the terms in these industries. Whether it's something, I know this happens a lot in creative industries. I know this happens a lot in other industries too, but that's more what I'm familiar with. And people will sign away or just have to eat it in the sake of paying their dues. And I feel like that is a really good lesson, because I've even heard, I'm not in the fashion clothes industry, but I hear about designers taking credit for other people's work, right? I saw that on Survival of the Thickest, which is a television show on Netflix. She got an opportunity. She's a fashion designer. She's trying to make a name for herself. Got an opportunity to work with a big, huge fashion designer who's already established. And she made these designs and he's like, love it, and put it out on his runway and took credit for the design. And he's like, no, this is my work because you did it here. And it's like, that situation reminded me of that. And it might seem like a great, amazing opportunity to be in this place, and it might be, but weigh your options and understand, is this worth it?
And I feel like, honestly, Dolly was so ahead of her time with that, because you always hear a lot of stories about artists from back in the day, or you're watching their biopics and they ended up signing a 360, or they end up, doing some type of paying your dues situation, like you said. So when I heard about that story, I was like, oh, she was ahead of her time. Okay, she was just so smart. Like, really, honestly. So, and then look, fast forward, a few decades later, Whitney gets a song, and now Dolly, was getting all of that, all of that, because she had all of her rights. And then even to move into her philanthropy and everything, she took the money that she got from Whitney doing the song and gave it back to communities in Nashville, Black communities. Like, that's just so dope to me. Like, I'm just like,
yeah. And I also feel like with the whole paying your dues things, I feel like sometimes people have a chip on their shoulder as to, like, people come into it with the wrong attitude. If you went through something in terms of paying your dues, which I understand to a certain point, don't come entitled into an industry like, well, I want to do this and this and this. Like, no, every job is important and you have to learn every single job. And I understand that. But if you think paying your dues is being nasty because someone else was nasty to you, like, when people are nasty to me, I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, when I'm in that position where I'm someone's boss, that I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to be the environment, and I don't want that to be their experience. So instead of trying to be like, well, I went through this, so you have to go through this, I want to pave a new path and way of kindness so that can be passed on. And when I have a boss that's kind and nice, I'm like, that is the kind of boss that I want to be. And not saying you can't be stern, because I also feel like people get a bad rep. People are like, oh, they're mean. And I'm like, I just think they're
about their business.
Yeah. I've seen mean and I've seen just about their business. But I think that's the wrong way to look at things. You have a chip on your shoulder, like, you need to pay your dues and I'm gonna be nasty to you. I don't think that way. I think I am going to make sure that nobody feels that way, how you just made me feel.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a power trip or whatever it is, but in my mind, I'm like thinking, wouldn't you want, if you had a hard time coming into an industry, wouldn't you think, okay, you know what, let me make this a little easier for the new people to come up, because what I went through was ridiculous. It didn't make any sense. Not taking away that you need to learn certain lessons and, not that, but you don't got to be rude about it.
I think that's another lesson that we can learn from Dolly, in the sense that as you climb, reach as you climb. Bring people as you climb. Like, don't just climb and kick out the ladder from under you, like, ha, suckers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lift as you climb. When new girls come in, Dolly Parton did not need to interact with younger talent, with people going on. Even like I know everyone of our generation always remembers her on Hannah Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she had a close relationship with Hannah Montana. That's her godmother and all that. But she didn't need to go on Hannah Montana.
No.
She did that because of her love for Miley and wanting to support her. And sometimes people don't want to support other people because they feel like it's a threat. When really their success does not negate yours.
Yeah, I feel like, one lesson I think from Dolly, she's always on the right side of history, right? So not even just with Miley, but she's helped so many women come up in country music. Obviously everyone talks about Beyonce because she was on the Beyonce album and the hard time that Beyonce had breaking into the genre. But still, even for her to see and recognize, she's having such a hard time, let me speak up on this, help show my support. And she's done that for so many different artists, so I'm like,
and that's how you move as a legend in your field,
Yeah.
You don't want to be the legend that's like, whack, whack. No, because that taints everything, right? If you are gracious and people have grown up looking up to you, like, that is an honor for someone to say, I'm inspired by you. I'm looked up to you. So even if you didn't want to do, because you don't have to, but if you didn't want to do anything, I think it's important as a pioneer in your field to at least have, I don't know, I just feel like as a pioneer in the field, there is some responsibility there to be at the very least welcoming.
I agree with that.
As long as they're like good people. Not like they're like running around tyrants. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I understand what you're saying, because especially like you said, you're being a pioneer. You want this, if we're going to talk about music for a second, you want this genre to last and grow and evolve. And you know what I'm saying? So in my mind, right, you would want to reach out and help the people coming in. And especially, like I said, the older people, they went through a lot of craziness and things aren't the same now. But it's like to even reach out and just help people navigate, like, listen, make sure you're reading your contracts. Make sure you're, not just being trusting of everyone, because, whatever little nuggets of advice, I feel like that's just kind of important as a pioneer.
Yeah, but I think it's the same in anything in corporate. Like, I have had a boss who was so nice and had such guidance for me and for all the young girls in there. And it was an amazing experience to work with someone like that, rather than, someone who is kind of like feeling threatened. I've heard so many stories of people who their boss or something starts to feel threatened once they are doing well, and start to sabotage them. And it's like, what are we talking about right now? You are supposed to be a pioneer of the game.
But you know what? I feel like that goes to show feeling, knowing within yourself, like, that you're good. Like, there's a better way to say it, but I'm like, just having that self-assurance where you're like, I don't need to I know what I put in. I know who I am. You know what I mean? So I don't need to necessarily do that or feel threatened. There's nothing. I already laid my legacy out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the only person who can mess that up is me. The legacy's already there, So, and you see that happen to a lot of people. They get tricked out of their own legacy.
That's what didn't I say people really try and trick you out your spot? Didn't I just say that? Like, that is so crazy. Like, sometimes you just gotta mind your business. Another quote from Dolly. I'm not going to limit myself because people won't accept the fact that I can do something else. Mm-hmm. This I loved because Dolly is one of those people that did so many things. She was singing, she was writing, she was acting, she was a philanthropist, she was an entrepreneur, she was making sure children were reading, and like it was just a broad. You can go to a store right now and get Dolly Parton maple syrup. Like she has an amusement park, okay? You know, people were probably like, at a certain point, it was like, oh, you want to do what? You want to do what? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? And I think that's so relevant to this day, and especially to people in their 20s. The multi-hyphenate is huge right now. Maybe halfway because people are accepting all of the things that they want to do, and halfway out of necessity. Mm-hmm. But either way, that's what's going on. And I think she shows that if you feel like you want to do something, you don't have to put yourself in a box. Like, well, this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, or this isn't in the range of this. No. And I think there's a lot of people like that, like Keke Palmer. Yeah. And like I saw people like, why does Keke Palmer have a Pilates app? Because that's what she wanted to do.
Right. What?
And she was teaching Pilates at Essence Fest. Now what? Maybe if you would have started your Pilates app, you would have been teaching Pilates too. See, people trying to trick you out your spot. I'm going to keep coming back to it. Mm-hmm. That's really what I'm getting from Dolly today. I don't know why. Okay.
No, I love that. And honestly, I read somewhere, they were like, Dolly, with all of the things that she had going on, she literally could have been a billionaire. But the fact that she gives so much, you know, like she still, obviously she was still, you know, wealthy or whatever, but she gives so much and gives back to people that she was not a billionaire. And I'm like, it made me think of that quote. People were like, we made the right person famous, or we made the wrong person famous. I'm like, she really was the right person to be famous. Like the way she gave back, the way she stood up, especially in times where it was shocking for women to stand up and say what they want to say. Mm-hmm. And the fact that she always did and didn't care, you know?
I think that it also shows the way that people are grieving Dolly Parton just shows how far just being a good person is. And that's not to say that there won't be things that you don't know about, that you make a mistake. Dolly had, it was like something, I guess it was like in Dollywood or something, called the Dixie Saloon. Mm-hmm. And she like opened it, and then when she opened it, people were like, this is kind of offensive. Yeah. The word Dixie on this. So she was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. And then she changed it immediately to Dolly Parton Saloon. And it was like, okay, cool. Like, one, it wasn't something that she knew about. Because then you have people, oh, they were young. Like, girl, you knew that was wrong when you were 6. No excuse. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't something that she genuinely was like, she did not know, and she immediately changed it. It was no this, that, and third. She was wrong. That was it. Yeah. And I feel like it just shows how far being a good person will go. Caring about others will go. Not everything is about yourself. She cared about others. She cared about children reading. She invested back into community. She does, like, just be a good person.
She even had a sanctuary for the bald eagles, the American bald eagles. Like, I feel like just she's an example of how, like you said, how far being a good person goes, and how I don't know anyone who doesn't like Dolly Parton. No matter age, race, political status, I don't know anyone. Like, literally, I'm like trying to think. You haven't seen not one person say anything bad about her.
A true American treasure. People try and throw that out there.
No, yes, they do. And I'm like, no, this is a true American treasure. I don't know anyone who doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Like, she's that girl.
That's real. I also like Dolly Parton had an interview where she said she's not afraid of failure because she doesn't feel like failure is a failure. because she comes out of it with experience and can be better for it. And I loved that too, because it just shows, to me, it teaches you keep it positive. Keep it positive. And I always think of that with like, I know that God works everything for good for those who love the Lord. So like, that's how I interpret that, and that's how I see that. But I love that she said that, because it really just shows how to just keep positivity, and anything can be, though it's the way you look at it, half glass full or half glass empty.
Yeah. Well, Dolly was a Christian, right? And when you look at her life, you kind of just see that in everything that she did. Yes, she was still true to herself and everything, but to see the way she cared about others, she wasn't like a judgmental person. She was just like, look, I'm going to treat people how I want to be treated, like I'm going to extend my hand. Doesn't matter the race, the gender, whatever. I'm going to extend my hand and just try and be a good person. And I think that's just something so beautiful. You don't really see that a lot.
Another quote from Dolly Parton talking about judging. I've like compiled all of these things.
No, I love it.
Shared by Miss Rachel. Shout out to Miss Rachel. Yes. I keep saying, if you're the fine Christian that you think you are, why are you judging people? That's God's job. We're not God. We're not judges. We're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to not judge. And that goes right into that. Not judging people, sharing love, that is the Christian way. And I love that she was never shy about sharing her love for Jesus and sharing her love for the Lord. And that makes me, that is like, she's with the Lord, you know what I'm saying? And like, that is a comfort. And like, I just think that that's also inspiring. Like, you don't have to tone down or hide your love for Jesus and being a Christian. And you don't have to, no matter the room, no matter who feels some type of way, you can be proud about who you are and the Lord and not feel any type of way about it.
And it'll truly show in the way you live your life. Because the way she lived her life, honestly, we're talking about all the philanthropy, all the, not judging. She, really lived like,
and being, and like the quote said, being a true Christian,
right?
Because sometimes, and no one's perfect, but I also feel like I kind of get sad when I see people online say the reason why they don't want to explore the Bible or explore God is because of the way other people act.
Other Christians,
or like people, like that makes me really sad, because I'm like, don't let other people, because nobody's perfect, right? Yeah. We're all man is not perfect, right? So don't let other people keep you away from a relationship that has nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? So that always makes me sad. So I think that quote was good.
Yeah. And honestly, that quote, it reminds me of how I try to think now. Like, when people ask me certain things, we don't have to get into it, but when people ask me certain things about different ways that they feel in the Bible and stuff, and I'm, and I tell people like, it's not my job to judge. I really truly try not to judge in life.
And no one's perfect.
And I'm like, I can't. I just try to do my best to love and respect and, put that into the world. I'm not going to sit here and judge you. I'm just not going to do it.
And I think that you should love everyone. And because that is what the Bible says, to lead with love. And to love is such a important part of it. So I think everyone should have your love. Everyone should have your respect. Unless they do something that is like, that takes that away, right? But if you come in into every situation, with everyone, with your light, like Dolly did, obviously the people will see it. Yeah. And that is what we have learned.
Yeah. I feel like Dolly left people better than when she found them. You know, she made people feel seen. She gave people different opportunities. She was truly just a light, and I think that's just something that we can all learn from, you know, whether it be her talent, her just being herself, how she gave to the people, you know, her legacy is so much more, and it will definitely live on. So we love you, Dolly.
Yeah, and it's full of light and joy. And I know that a lot of people, most people, will want people to feel light and joy when they interact with people, when they talk about them, and they think, you know what, she is just light and joy and a hoot.
A hoot.
A dang hoot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Holly.
Thank you, Dr. Holly. Thank you, Dolly. And we will always love you. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Let us know down below something that you learned from Dolly, okay? We want to know. We want to talk about her. We want to honor her in this episode. So make sure to tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. It really helps us. And don't forget to subscribe. We want you guys to come back. We have so much more coming for you guys. And we thank everyone who has subscribed so far. And we really appreciate your support. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we will see you next time. Bye.